Hey guys, so for this video I'll be reviewing Warstone TD, which is a fun, newer TD tower defense that makes some improvements over classic Flash tower defense games, while still keeping to the core of what makes a tower defense game. It reminds me a lot of Kingdom Rush in some ways in terms of the overall structure of the game. There's obviously a lot of differences between them. Warstone TD is a fun progression-based TD with a fairly simple story. While the story is pretty simple, it does have some funny self-aware humor in there. It's actually more amusing and entertaining than I expected. As you play through the game, you unlock more towers, which is pretty standard for tower defense games. However, there's also this important town building element where you build a bunch of buildings and upgrades that can get better units, get more resources, etc, etc. There's also the equivalent of a skill tree that you get, and you can unlock stuff as you level up by playing through different maps. Each map in the game has 3 different game modes you can play at, and each game mode has 4 different difficulties. Additionally, each mode has a unique challenge you can complete in order to get additional resources and some other things. A lot of the replayability in this game comes from completing these challenges, completing different game modes, and trying to see how many of them you complete. You don't necessarily need to do a lot of those in order to beat the game. You can theoretically play through the whole game without doing any of these challenge modes, without doing any of these extra game modes. However, it can be difficult to beat the final level without upgrading units enough. And as you play through these different game modes, these challenges, you get more resources in order to upgrade your units. So because of that, there can be a sort of grind in the game. There can be some sort of need to replay old levels in order to get some resources. I mean, when you replay the old levels, it'll be slightly different because you're doing a different game mode. However, there will be some backtracking in that way. So if you really hate any sort of grind at all, this might not be the best game for you. Overall, the strategy in this game is leveling up your units between different maps and upgrading your skill tree. And within each map, a lot of it is sort of knowing the counters of each of the enemies. So each tower is particularly strong against some enemies and weaker against others. So knowing what each tower is best against, and you can sort of see what enemies are coming, being able to adapt to that is where a lot of the strategy comes in. So Warstone TD has some tower defense innovation, but it's more unique in implementation than in concept. So it adds co-op, which is a little weird to figure out at first, but it's pretty fun. Adds some PvP maps, which are funner than I expected actually, although there aren't that many players online, and not as many as you'd hope in order to get quick matches. And there's some levels you can create the path that monsters go down. So instead of just having the set path, you can sort of build your own, which adds an extra element of fun. So what are the main cons? What are the main drawbacks of Warstone TD? So I would say the main things that are annoying are first that you have to always be online. I rarely had connection issues, but I did have some. Really shouldn't need to have any, shouldn't need to be online all the time. It was also a little buggier than I expected. They really were breaking the gameplay anyway. They really made it impossible to do things, but it was a little buggier than I would have hoped. And it's very progression focused. So if you really hate the idea of needing to do any progression, you really hate the idea that you can brute force your way through levels. If you just upgrade your units a lot, all the early levels get easier, all the challenges get easier as you upgrade things. So that's can be a con. So in summary, I would say Warstone TD is a fun tower defense game that I recommend to people who are looking for a new tower defense game. It has some good tower defense innovation with co-op, PvP, and some levels you can create the enemy paths. However, if you hate the idea of any sort of potential grind, hate the idea of cross-level progression being required, that may not be the best game for you. I'm not sure that I'd pay the full $15 for this because I'm cheap, but I'd absolutely recommend it's on sale. I've had a fun 20 hours of gameplay, and I'll keep playing it more after I do this review. So anyways, that's my review of Warstone TD. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see more like this. I'll link my playlist of all my 2-minute reviews in the description.